known as the Triassic. Now that's about 220 million years BC. It's a time of vast deserts and withering droughts, but somehow life holds on. Animals have developed ingenious ways to survive since they first crawled out of the ocean, including one particular miracle of engineering, known as the egg. Now these eggs are like drought survival packages, and they're everywhere in the Triassic. Every animal that walks these harsh Pangean plains hatches from an egg. It's a kingdom of hatchlings walking on eggshells. But then, something new occurs. A new type of creature evolves out of this harsh landscape. The dinosaur. You thought they were going to be bigger, didn't you? Well, don't worry, they grow a lot. In fact, this amazing group of reptiles will come to rule the world. But first, these little guys have to survive. And in this vicious environment, that'll take sharp instinct. And something even more important, luck. Because with all these babies around, for the carnivore, it's always feeding time. That's Lilian Sternus, one of the first of the dinosaur predators. The Lilian Sternus walks on two legs like we do. He's fast and agile, perfectly adapted to his environment. The story of the dinosaurs is not always a pretty one. Now this might look a little different than pictures of the Lilian Sternus you might have seen in books, and that's because we now believe that the Lilian Sternus had that spiky crest of feathers, giving him kind of a punk rock look. His agility gives him the edge over other reptiles, but dinosaurs won't stop there. Creatures like this will dominate the landscape. Eventually all droughts end and the wet seasons return. The rains finally fall, and new things grow. With new vegetation, there's suddenly more to eat. And the dinosaurs eat. And eat. And their lightweight skeletons allow them to expand, to evolve into titans. Oh, wow. I always wanted to see one of these up close. That's Plateosaurus, the first of the giants.
Plateosaurus.
The wet seasons are still irregular and brief. For 75% of the year, life is threatened in this dry, parched landscape. So to conserve liquid, Plateosaurus doesn't sweat or even pee. No wonder she looks a little bloated. tons. That's 4 times the weight of a saltwater crocodile, the heaviest reptile alive in the 21st century. Sternus is back for seconds. Not this time. She's defended her young and cannot go back to her search for food. In the dry season, with vegetation scarce, Plateosaurus is a survival machine. Her long neck allows her to graze on the ground and from trees above. Oh, they're at it again! It's the start of an arms race between herbivores and predators. And at least this time, the big vegetarian prevails. And that's good news for the next generation. Hey, don't forget the kids!
Are the kids there? Other species come and go, but dinosaurs continue to evolve. Big ones, small ones, fast ones, and slow ones. Building on a great design, the world is theirs for the taking. So, do you see how far dusting off a few old bones can take us? By the way, did you know that the ground beneath our feet is always moving? Here in the Triassic, but also in the more familiar 21st century. It's called plate tectonics, and it never stops. Well, you'd think we'd be falling over all the time, wouldn't you? But it doesn't work like that. You see, the ground moves slowly. At about the same speed our fingernails Now that we can handle. But what if we sped it up, say, millions of years per second? Hold tight. Here we go. The single continent of Pangaea is breaking apart. Continents will travel across the globe. Australia, for instance, starts off on the equator, but it will drift down, collide with the Antarctic, and then come bouncing right back. But for now, Pangaea, the huge single continent from that first age of the dinosaurs, has split. And it leaves a series of narrow seaways between the new land masses. All this movement has an even greater legacy. Mountains are created, and ocean currents change. This has a dramatic effect on the weather. The level of rainfall increases, and vegetation explodes across this new world. Welcome to the Jurassic period, a glorious time for dinosaurs. Not to mention Steven Spielberg. So, what do you think we'll find here? Look at this. A footprint. I love these because, believe it or not, something as delicate as a footprint can be fossilized in rock for millions of years. Then why is a footprint so important to a paleontologist like me? Well, most fossils I find are from corpses, teeth and bones left behind where a creature died. Okay, so that's what they look like when they died. But footprints are an example of trace fossils that tell us how a creature lived. These are treasures left behind by living animals, fleeting moments of a creature's life captured in stone. Trace fossils can be teeth marks on bones, burrows, or even dung dropped on the ground and dug up by someone like me. But footprints are my favorite because they tell us so much about dinosaurs. Single tracks can reveal stride length, speed, size, and stance of the beast, while groups of tracks can suggest herd structures or movements of migration. More pieces of the puzzle. Come on, let's be trackers and see what we can find. Now, this is a predator print. You can tell by the distinctive 3 claws. I mean, it's kind of like a giant bird's foot.
And nothing's there.
And another. This is pretty cool. I mean, because now I'm actually walking with dinosaurs. Oh, these over here. These are herbivore prints.